Every time you meet a piece of data, it's stored in your brain. Retaining these facts is often not the real problem with recall, it's retrieving them. Finding the information in a mind filled with millions and millions of puzzle pieces can sometimes be challenging. When you're in post-secondary, it's imperative that you have access to each and every one of these facts on demand at any given moment. The best way to ensure that you can find the information when needed is to create an elaborate web of mental associations. These memory cues link relevant knowledge that can lead you to the answers you need. Your exams are simply a test of this web. Can you summon forth the information when you need it? Or will you be left out in the woods? Mental associations are the pathways in your memory connecting pieces of information. The more links you have to a particular piece of data, the easier it is to retrieve that information during test time. Memory cues can come from links like details about a topic or foundational concepts. They can also come in the form of sensations connected to that information. These could be feelings about the idea or input from your senses that was made when you originally learned it. These pathways literally look like a web. Each string can guide you to the material you're trying to retrieve. Clearly, the more links a piece of information, the more likely you will be able to recover that knowledge during test time. The more links, the easier, faster, and stronger the recall. Mental associations are vital during test time. Having strong memory cues for the information that you need to remember will help you remember it faster and in more detail. This is beneficial during test time when your ability to recognize and work with these concepts is quite literally examined. But you don't have to feel intimidated to memorize all of this information. Creating a solid network of memory cues will help you with retrieval. Right now, I'm going to give you some tips on how to do it without even breaking a sweat. Rephrasing complex concepts into everyday language ensures that these ideas are said in a way that you understand. While extremely helpful, this does not have to be done in real time. Concepts not immediately recognized may be written down verbatim and then simplified later. This is actually an excellent study exercise. If it's terminology within the phrasing that's causing the difficulty, look up the word and then their synonyms during your study time and then rephrase them. During this process, you will have time to note any similarities between this concept and others that you may have encountered throughout your studies. Discovering synonyms or several different ways to say a word or idea will help link them to related ones. This layering and cross-linking of notions are incredibly beneficial during recall. Now, these associated words can also be used as memory cues. For many of us, memory is mainly visual. Creating diagrams to convey information can be beneficial in describing challenging concepts. Creating and drawing your own illustrations will link this information to your own personal memory markers. These illustrations are more beneficial than any pre-made diagram that you Google. This is because it tailors the references directly to your own understanding. It will describe where the memory is located in your brain, rather than forcing yourself to remember the diagram that someone else made. Understanding a concept is so much more important than memorizing it. Creating your own pictures as an activity ensures that you recognize the nuances of the model. Creating your own illustrations also creates an emotional link between you and the image, ensuring that you can identify these subtle details. Comparison charts quickly and easily relate the similarities and differences of like concepts. They can also accurately clarify in detail any similarities between ideas that seem pretty different. As previously discussed, creating mental associations between similar theories is beneficial because it builds more memory cues to retrieve information. Being able to show how similar ideas are alike is helpful when describing a concept on an exam or an assignment. You should be able to compare and contrast examples to show that you really understand any given topic. Being able to relate how two similar issues differ is equally valuable. Comparison charts are a helpful tool for displaying this and organizing all of the information needed. Concept maps are an excellent way to prove relationships between ideas. They convey the same layering and cross-linking of information as diagrams do. You can easily view information on intricate topics that describe and enhance your understanding and link and explain related ideas. These are great to use because they are easy to visualize during test time. Concept maps can be used when clarifying your answers and showing knowledge when you cannot find the words that you need. While simple diagrams can be added to describe ideas and boost comprehension, they are unnecessary. Because of this, concept maps are ideal for students with no artistic inclination. Flashcards are an oldie, but a goodie. They are definitely something that is okay to fall back on. They are primarily used in brute memorization. However, the prompts you use on your flashcards to trigger recall are also very, very useful memory cues. When using flashcards, be sure to use various prompts for each piece of information that you're trying to memorize. This will ensure many links back to the concepts that you need to remember. It would help you in recalling with ease when you need to, especially during test time. Connecting contrasting ideas and how they relate is an excellent way to layer your knowledge of a problematic concept. Knowing how these facts are similar as well as how they differ can be extremely handy during test time, especially for those long answer questions. When you need to give a long answer on a test, the more aspects of understanding that you can show, the more marks you'll likely receive on that answer. Remember, it's not enough to just give the correct answer. Demonstrating how and why you got to that answer, along with the supporting facts, is often worth more marks than the solution alone. This may be one of the most important lessons you will ever learn in math class, and it applies to your entire post-secondary career. Since memory is so visual, being able to encode and file specific facts together is hugely beneficial. You can extend these visual memory cues far beyond diagrams and concept maps. After editing, revising, and completing your final notes, whether handwritten or typed, classify important information by color coding your highlighting. Be sure to continue this color trend across all of your classes throughout your university journey. Choose one color for vocabulary, another for dates, and a third for theories or hypotheses. Depending on your major, you may also want to add more colors for essential people or locations. Having your notes color-coded in this way will add another memory cue that will layer and organize like facts together. In your notes, the color pink will always mean vocabulary. Those terms and every single piece of terminology that you will ever need to recall will be linked by the prompt pink. This will also help you to review your notes when you are looking for essential terms that you may have forgotten. Simply look for the pink markings as you skim through. Acronyms are a reliable way to memorize a particular list or process. Acronyms use the first letter of the word in a set of terms to create a new code word that's easier to remember than the original list. Rather than memorizing a group of words in order, you use this shortcut. One famous example of the word is BEDMAS, or PEDMAS in math. These outline the steps of solving algebraic equations. Brackets or parentheses, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. As long as you understand the underlying concept, acronyms are an extremely handy tool. But this is also where the breakdown could happen. This technique is useless if you memorize the word without understanding the components that make it up. You have to remember the individual elements to decipher the whole. Just remember that when you start brute memorizing a whole bunch of acronyms. While we already discussed earlier the benefits of drawing illustrations to clarify your understanding, there is one crucial detail I left out purposefully. Drawing these diagrams, then redrawing them repeatedly from memory, can further increase your recall of the information. Not only does it aid in the visual memorization of the diagram, but it also helps develop muscle memory. Soon, you'll notice that your hand can easily draw these diagrams with little outside intervention from conscious thought. This is when you know you've got it. Keep this diagram in your arsenal for explaining the topic on your exam. Professors love sketches because they convey information clearly with little room for miscommunication. Consider adding these sketches to long answer questions to make your answers explicitly clear. Often, wording cannot come across as such, or your writing can get messy when you're rushing. Testing yourself at face value may not seem to be a great way to create memory cues, but stay with me for a moment and let me explain. Testing yourself will quickly tell you what information you know and you do not know. Furthermore, it will also show you what information you're not confident in or that you struggle with. You will create mental associations when you correct your quiz. When reviewing the answers, check if it's right or wrong. Next, add the appropriate answer. This links the correct information to the wrong answers and adds a deep layer because it's mixed with emotions. Now, the solution will be combined with the feeling that you felt while writing the answer and the sensation of getting it either right or wrong. These emotions will lead you to the correct answer. This is just one reason why correcting your exams and assignments is so important. When you write your final, you will remember reading the wrong answers and the comments explaining why it's wrong. You are also going to remember the effort that you put into looking up the right solution so that you could correct the information and amend your understanding. These associations really drive home this information and will keep it in the forefront when you need it the most. Creating mental associations will help root the information and make triggering recall much easier when it matters most. When you're sitting in the exam hall, time is at a disadvantage. It is imperative that every call is easy and that the answers are fluent. Having an abundance of memory cues to help you find the information in your memory is the best way to facilitate this. These facts will flow freely and you can access them. These strategies really help to accelerate this. If you do need help in creating a study guide for your next exam, pick up my free printable study guide template. It's always down in the description below. You can use it to make a study guide for your exam or just to study throughout the entire semester. Take all of that guesswork out of creating your study plan and pick up this comprehensive template with more than 20 study activities. But that is all for today. Let me know which one of the tips that we went over today is your favorite down in the comments below and how you plan on adding it to your study arsenal. I'll see you next week. And until then, I hope you have an amazing adventure.